Right, so today is a different video. As you can see, I'm not out exploring anywhere. I am in my office and I am going to be editing today. So as you may have seen in the title, I am going to show you a few techniques that I use to edit my photos in Photoshop for Instagram. So Instagram is like my base platform. I'll take the photos on my camera, which I'm recording this video with, and then pop them into my computer, do all the editing on Photoshop, and eventually upload them to Instagram. I don't really upload my photos anywhere else. So if you're not already following me, follow me on Instagram. The link should be in the description. So yeah, what we're going to try and do is enhance the colors, enhance the sharpness, I suppose, but I'll show you everything like that once we get into the computer. I do have an announcement that I will be making at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And just a few more updates of what's going to be happening in the next, I'd say, 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's jump onto the computer. Alright, so we're open. Okay, let me enlarge this. Cool, okay, we're open. We've got a... This is what I've already edited prior to making this video. And this is the exact image that I did upload to Instagram. Okay, so this is of Mac Falls in Mpumalanga, and I went there approximately 3 weeks ago now, and honestly, most amazing place to go. And to get shots like this with a drone is just unbelievable. So what we'll do, we'll take all the edits off, and then we'll actually re-edit this, okay? So let me just delete the group. Yo. Right, so we're back to what we originally started with. This is straight out of the camera on the DJI, so this is straight out of the camera on the DJI Phantom 4 Pro. As you can see, there's a lot of greens. It's quite washed out compared to the last image. But what I really love about this image is that we've got this little rainbow formed here from the spray of the waterfall. And then we've actually got 2 waterfalls coming down, which just adds a little bit of interest as opposed to the normal waterfall photos that you do see. With Photoshop, when you want to undo a layer, it only undoes the most recent layer. After that, then it no longer can you undo any layers. Okay, so what we want to try and do is not put all the effects into the background, but to create a new layer for each adjustment. So what we'll do is Shift Option Command N on a Mac, and that will create us a new layer. So as you can see, we've got layer 1, which has popped up. Shift Option Command E, and what that does is actually copies and pastes the background onto that layer. Okay, so the first adjustment that we want to do here is just do an overall adjustment of everything that's happening in this photo. So we want to boost the colors and perhaps give a little bit of contrast to it. So what we'll do, we'll go up here into Filter, we'll go to Blur, and then we'll go into Gaussian Blur. Now what this actually does is actually blurs your image completely, and don't worry, we're not ruining the photo. We're just, how can I say it, putting something in place in order to achieve something else. Okay, so my radius is set to 5, which is normal, it's not too blurry, and it's not too sharp either. There you can see what we've got is a very blurry image. Okay, so what we want to do from there is change our overlay, and we want to change that to soft light. Okay, and as you can see straight away, we've got a nice pop in colors, and we've got quite a big contrast between the blacks and the whites. So if we just turn that layer off, we'll see that's the original image we started with, and that's after the first adjustment that we've done. So we'll go Shift Option Command N to create a new layer. Like I said before, Shift Option Command E to paste the background onto that layer. Right. So the next thing that we want to do with this image is sharpen it up a little bit. Alright, so we've got some quite nice details in the shadows over here, and then quite a few details in the highlights over here. So the way we'll sharpen this up is that we want to sharpen the highlights and the shadows, and in doing that, basically we can change this into a black and white photograph by going Shift Command U, and it'll give you a black and white. So now we're only focusing on the highlights and the shadows where we want to be doing the sharpening. Once we've done that, we'll go into our overlay again, select overlay, and then we've got this sort of very contrasty image. Don't worry, this is not the end result. We've got then to go to filter, we'll go to other, and then we'll run a high pass on that. And then what that actually does is gives you so much more sharpness in this image. So for me, that looks quite okay if we just zoom in a little bit. Right, we're looking at this rock again, we'll turn off the layer, and then we'll turn on the layer. And for me, that looks absolutely perfect. If you don't want it to be as sharp as it looks, what you can do is come down here into the opacity, turn that down to say 50% for example, and it won't be as sharp as the original adjustment. So for me, I quite liked the 100, and I'm going to keep it at that. Okay, so what we want to do next from here is open up a new layer. So again, we'll go Shift Option Command N, Shift Option Command E. Okay, and what I want to do here is give it quite a summery look. In South Africa at the moment it is summer, and this shot was done almost in the bright of day. So what I'm going to do is add a nice orange color to make it look like it's at sunset. We'll go into adjustment layer, and then right at the top we've got solid color. Okay, so normally for a sunset you've got the orange and the yellows coming into the photograph. So if we just want to scroll this slider up into there and then choose a color which best represents a sunset which would happen in this place. So we'll click OK, and we're left with this, a bright orangey yellow photograph. This is not what we want, so we'll go into the overlay and we'll choose soft light again. Okay, so now what we've got is this very orangey type photograph, and to get it to what we want it to be is we'll actually just adjust the opacity and say let's take it to about 25%. Alright, so if we turn this adjustment off, we'll get this bluey color, alright, which is not really conducive to a sunset in South Africa. So we'll put this back on again, and then we've got more of that orangey color coming through, and yeah, I think that looks much nicer for now and for what we want to achieve out of this photo. So we'll go Shift Option Command N. Sorry to keep saying this all the time, but in case you forget, Shift Option Command E. So again, we've pasted the background onto our new layer. Now we've got an image which is looking okay, but it's not quite 100% for me yet. Okay, so what I can notice here is there's a lot of greens in the image, and when you're looking for a summary post, you don't really want to have greens, you'd rather have them a more browny yellow color. So the way that we do that is we'd go back into the adjustment layer like this, and we'll choose hue and saturation. Okay, what we want to do, we've got a preset here which we're not going to touch, but we're going to go straight into our master and then choose greens. Okay, so that's what we're focusing on at the moment, and then we'll choose our color picker. We'll drop down the saturation for the greens, just say to about -35. This is quite a nice number for me, it's in the middle of everything that you may want. So then we will select which green we want to turn into a more yellowy color. So I'm just going to select up here in the grass, and what that actually does now is make that grass more of a browny color. So you can see over here we've got lots of browns as well, and then up in the grass as well. Okay, so you can see there that we've turned the option off, and then we've got a much greener image. If we turn it back on, there we have the much more summery, oranger type image. And for me, this is a lot better, and this best represents a South African summer. And normally in summer, you'll have a lot more sort of yellows and oranges, preferred to the greens that we did have before. So we're going to do a new adjustment layer, and what we want to do now is balance our colors. Okay, so we've got quite an orangey yellow color in the image right now, so what we'll try and do is complement those oranges and reds with the opposite color. So with reds, we'll go up into the midtones here, and you'll see that cyan is the opposite color to the reds. What we're going to try and do is put in a little bit more cyan colors just to even out those reds and oranges that are in the image. So we'll take that to about -8, -9, and as you can see, you've got a much more natural image with the blues back into the photo. So we'll turn that off, and we'll show you what it looked like before, more orangey and red. As soon as we turn it back on, all those blues come back in, and we see a more natural looking image. What you can do as well is fiddle around with the other colors, but usually I just stick to the reds and the blues, as these are your more dominant colors, especially in the image that we've got here. What we want to do now, just to see what sort of progress that we have made in the image, we'll group all of our adjustment layers together. So like I said at the beginning, you want to have all your adjustments in different layers, and this is why. So we're going to group them all together here, and once they're grouped together, you can actually see exactly what you've done across all the images. So if we turn it off, you'll see what the image looked like before we started. So your base image, the image straight out of the camera, and then if you turn it back on, those are all the adjustments that we have done as well. So as you can see, we've made quite a lot of progress on this photo, and it is starting to look really, really good. Let's carry on. So we'll go Shift, Option, Command N, Shift, Option, Command E. New adjustment layer. And what we want to do with this one is add a LUT to this image. Now, Adobe comes preset with a few different LUTs that you can use, but you can always download LUTs from numerous websites out there that either sell them or give them away for free. And LUTs are a really nice thing to use almost as a preset to get the sort of feel, the underlying feel that you want to have throughout your photographs. So we'll go up into color lookup, and then we'll open up a little menu over here. So it's going to ask you for 3D LUT file, abstract, or device link. Okay, so we're going to forget about abstract and device link for now and go straight into the 3D LUT files. So these are where your files would be inside of Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so you can see all these files here are by Adobe. I've got a couple of my own files from a website called MLATs. These you can actually download for free. And basically what we want to do, or what we're trying to create, especially for me on my Instagram page, is what I'm trying to create is an underlying color sort of theme to all of my photographs. So when you do look at someone's feed, it actually looks very clean and very pleasing to the eye. So the one I normally use is quite a popular one called the teal and orange LUT. Alright, and what that does now is adds a few adjustments onto the photograph for you to play with. Okay, so what this has done for me is that it's actually put in a lot of bluey color, which we did do a little bit of before, and it's given more contrast to the image as well. So you can see in the shadows over here, they are very, very dark, and your highlights, as in the water, is very, very light. So if this is what you're going for, this is definitely what you can do. But for me, I just want a little bit of that additional blue and contrast into my image. Okay, so because I don't want the full 100%, what I'll do is just go into my opacity, change that to 50%, have a look at what that looks like, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. We'll just keep turning the adjustment layer on and off to see what works for us best. And I think for me, those blues and those oranges are coming through quite nicely. They're complementing each other really, really nicely at the moment. And that is what I like. So for me, 40% was good, but again, everything is dependent on what you want for your image. And just go into curves. And what we're going to do with curves is that you can see we've still got quite dark shadows down here, and then the very bright highlights by the waterfall and in the rock over here. Right, so we're going to do a reverse S-curve because that looks like it's not working for me. So we'll pop up, and then there we go. So we'll put some more light into the shadows and less light into the highlights. Alright, cool, so that's what I'm looking for. Alright, and I think that is it. Let me just group these layers together, like so. Come on, G. And now we've got two groups. So we originally created a group, and now we've created the second group. So if we turn off the adjustments that we've just done now, we've got that ready sort of image coming through. So this second group is basically giving us our blues, it's giving more light in the shadows, taking down the highlights just a little bit so we can see all the detail in the water, all the splash here in the water, and more detail in the rock on this side. So if we turn that group off, we've got the red. So now we'll turn off group 1 as well, which is our other adjustment layers, and there we've got our base image. So group 1 goes back on, we've got that ready sort of feel, group 2, and then the blues come back into the image. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to edit photographs in Photoshop. And definitely check out my Instagram below. This is where you'll be able to see all these photographs that I do post to Instagram. Right, on to the announcement. I have just started my own company. It sounds very weird, I'm very young, I'm 21 years old, and I have started my own company called Utilitech Pty Limited. This is now a registered company with the South African CPIC, which I'm not too sure what that stands for, but I have a registered company to my name. And I'm so excited about that. But what this company does is industrial mapping, location of underground services, and highly technical tools and equipment which is used to do those specific things. Another division of it would be aerial photography, videography, which is sort of what is here. And what I've been doing in the recent months. So you can check out my website for that. It is aerialexperts.co.za, which is a division of Utilitech. And this is going to be quite a big focus of mine in the next few months. So I will definitely keep uploading photos, uploading videos, and there will be a lot of drone work within all of that. So definitely go check it out, it would mean so much to me. I'm sure you could find the Facebook pages and whatever linked to the website. So that's one thing, and then just an update on what I'll be doing in the next couple of weeks. I am going to Cape Town on Thursday this week for a week, which should be quite cool. I'll be doing a lot of video and a lot of stuff for my YouTube channel. So what I'm going to try and do is actually, I'm there for 6 days, and I want to try and upload 3 videos whilst I'm in Cape Town. So I'll be filming a video the one day, editing the next day, and so on. So definitely stay tuned for those ones. And yeah, that's it for this video. I'm sorry I'm not out exploring forests and waterfalls this time, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative and that you'll use these methods to edit your photos for Instagram. So thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, which you'll find everything down below. Cool, thank you so much. Cheers guys.